Welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute, your source of internet marketing inspiration.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute. I'm your host, John Henson, and this week wanted to talk to you about how SEO can fit into a content marketing strategy. Now, if you're following us for any amount of time, you know that we tend to take a little bit more of an anti-SEO stance. We don't think that it needs to be the foundation or the primary part of your marketing. But if you are going to have SEO as part of your marketing strategy, you can absolutely do that. We just think that it should come later on in your strategy once you have a good foundation set. So here's kind of where I'm coming from on that. All right. Without content marketing, all right, let's say that you're just doing SEO. Your rankings are going to be impacted by whatever basic landing pages you come up with, whatever basic blogs you write. That's typically going to be two of the main ways that an SEO company is going to try to build your rankings. They're going to post a ton of blogs, usually like 3 or 4 paragraphs. They're not going to say anything. They're going to be mostly current events related. Going to have a bunch of keywords in them, linking to a bunch of different things. Just it's not a good user experience. There's not any good, valuable information there. All right. The other thing is you may have like some specific landing pages, or maybe just the title of your normal pages is going to have just a lot of long keywords in it. Normal users aren't going to notice this that much, but it's typically like if you have a tab open in your browser, it's going to be all that text that shows up in that tab. So the reason that can become problematic is because the landing pages then are going to be full of the same sort of blog material that I just talked about. It's just going to have a bunch of keywords in it. It's not going to have it's going to be a lot of redundant, irrelevant information. If you want to know what I'm kind of talking about, go check out our bad SEO reading series that we're doing right now on social media. I think I just uploaded part 4 last week. I'll be uploading part 5 this week. And just listen to how it reads. It's a lot of the same information. It's for the example I keep going back to is just like the term like Houston car accident attorney will show up on that page like 5 times. And like no one talks like that. No one reads like that. It doesn't flow in natural conversational language. And that's the problem. That's where we're talking about. It does not create any sort of connection. It is just, it feels like this robotic, separate, transactional relationship. And that's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for creating that emotional connection, that long-lasting relationship that turns into repeat business or referrals or just, an overall good experience. And look, if your ultimate goal as a lawyer is to just get people in and out as fast as they can, get their money and move on, fine. That's just the way you've decided to run your business. It's not, I don't think it's the best way. I don't think that you're doing yourself a lot of favors in terms of creating, any sort of memorable experience, any sort of long-lasting relationships or anything like that. You're just kind of moving on to the next thing. So that's why we're focusing on, those referral relationships. And that's why content can do a good job of creating a lot of that good feeling, a lot of those good emotional connections and all of that. My whole, point in all of this is that when you start your marketing on content, all of a sudden now you, over time, granted, it's a little bit more of a long game, but we'll get to why that doesn't matter here in a second. But over time, you start building a blog library that naturally will include the keywords that are important to you without them being stuffed in there, without them being forced into awkward positions. But you'll start building up that blog library, and it'll actually be good blogs if you're doing evergreen informational content, surface level, but still just providing good information. And then also, if your website is built and the web copy is written around just doing a good job of explaining who you are, how you can help, and showing that you are going to be the guide. If you remember, we've talked a lot about Donald Miller's building a story brand sort of philosophy there, where you're repositioning yourself not as the hero, but as the guide, and yet your client is now the hero. And so your web copy then and your landing pages in turn into actually well-written, good user experiences that really show that, hey, you are the lawyer that can help these people get through whatever they're going through. And so the last point I'll make then is if it's sure, it's a long game, but it's only a long game if SEO is your focus. If it's your ultimate end game. And it doesn't have to be, because SEO is designed to generate cold leads. And if you're in personal injury, criminal defense, it's a little bit different just because of the nature of the work that you do. SEO can do a little bit more to bring in some hot leads and people who need help right away. But for a lot of the other practice areas, like, people are really doing their research. They are really taking a lot of time to make sure they find the right person for the job. And personal injury, it kind of happens a little bit more that way, especially if there's, a longer issue going on. But, and even in criminal defense, if someone, believes that they've got something coming and they want to get themselves protected, there's a little bit more research involved there as well. But so, SEO is really just designed to bring in cold leads, right? Content, on the other hand, not only has the ability to bring in cold leads, whether that's people who find your site naturally, whether they're referred to you, whether they see you on social media, however they find you. But then it also does a good job, especially if you are doing somewhat of like our content loop, if you're familiar with that, where you are consistently putting out new content. You're consistently creating those touch points, whether it's blogs, videos, social media posts, email, whatever it is. And content and that strategy is going to keep continuing to warm them up along that journey until they make a hiring decision. So whether someone's referred to you or whether they find your firm another way, your content and the strategy and the foundation that you've built is going to do a good job of just nurturing those people along naturally, so that you don't have to constantly be worrying about where you're ranking. You don't have to be worried about, how many leads are coming in, in order to make up for whatever's going on. You have a consistently rotating cycle of content. You're continuously hitting your network that will continue to grow. You'll continue to generate leads. You'll continue to add people to your network. And that's what's going to continue to bring in business. And that's the whole idea of what we've been doing. And that's just how it all fits together, And so like I said, you don't have to do SEO. And if you're a smaller firm, you don't have the big budget to do SEO. And look, I get emails where it's like, oh yeah, we'll do this SEO work for $60 a month. Like, it's not good. That's just money you're wasting. Good SEO, in order to get you on page one, which is all that people really care about, depending on your market, if you're like in a huge market, a huge metro market, that's going to be thousands of dollars a month. If you're in a smaller market, depending on how close you are to a major city, could still be high hundreds, still thousands of dollars, because those big firms, the big law, who has a gigantic marketing budget, who can very easily swoop in, pick up all the low hanging fruit from around, for miles around, they're going to be snatching up those keywords for your city, even if you're not in a major metro area. For example, if you live in, I'm trying to think of like a small town that's like relatively close to a big city. Like if you live in geez, let's say you live in like Mansfield, Ohio. All right. The big law firms from like either Columbus or Dayton or even Cincinnati are going to come in and just swoop up, and they're going to take Mansfield as part of their search terms, and they're spending thousands of dollars in SEO to do that, and they're going to end up typically on page one versus you, an actual attorney in Mansfield, Ohio. So why? The other side of that is, why would you compete with that? Why bother, wasting thousands of dollars every month trying to keep up with that, trying to compete with that, when you can easily have a great user experience? You build a network and you build leads and you build repeat business through referrals and the relationships that you're building. People are going to find your firm naturally regardless. You don't have to make a special effort to show up on Google. And run your business that way. And it works. We've worked with hundreds of attorneys who have done this, and they grow their business regardless of their practice area, whether you're doing something huge and broad like family or business law or estate planning, or you're doing something super niche like tractor trailer accidents or, cybersecurity, whatever the case is. We've seen this work across all practice areas all over the country. Geography doesn't matter. Practice area doesn't matter. It works. And so that's where we're at, and we're going to continue sort of this fight against this predominant theory that SEO is the best marketing, that SEO is what you should be doing first and most often. And it's just truly not the case. All right. Let me know your thoughts. All right. If that's what you've been doing and you've had success, awesome. Let me know how it's been working for you. If you've been frustrated with SEO, take a look at your landing pages, take a look at your blogs, see how they read. Put yourself in your audience's shoes. If they go and read that, what impression are they getting of your firm? And take a look at those sorts of things and just see what they're doing for you. All right. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for checking us out, continuing to rate, review us. Thanks for all the feedback that we're getting. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us. Please visit lawfirmmarketingminute.com for more information. We'll see you next time.